and we're looking at about cuts to about half of the funding for those services.
According to Elizabeth Ward Saxel, the executive director for the Maine Coalition Against Sexual Assault, cuts to federal funding threatens the viability of victim services in Maine. Some of those services include the Domestic Violence Helpline, Pine Tree Legal Services, Children's Advocacy Services, which helps children who have been sexually abused, and victims advocates like those that help the victims of the Lewiston mass shooting.
Maine is fortunate to have dedicated professionals who specialize in guiding families through their darkest hours. In the early morning of October 26th, victim advocates from the Attorney General's Office Homicide Team were already on the ground in Lewiston doing this critical work. They would eventually help more than 200 people.
Saxel adds that the governor's proposed budget allocates $3 million to help with the funding gap, which is only about half of what is needed to help keep the services fully funded. Senator Ann Carney says she submitted a bill that would make up the remaining funds.
This crisis is one that spans several years, as I mentioned. And as many other states have done, we need to step in and continue with state funds to bridge this gap.
Saxel says if they don't receive the funding, the impact would be devastating.
I mean, it would mean that the availability of services like those that Pine Tree Legal provides, like legal services for the elderly, domestic violence resource centers, sexual assault support centers, they would both be reduced in the number of services available, and in some places there wouldn't be services available at all, and we'd have to travel further. Survivors would have to travel further in order to receive those services.
At the State House, I'm Corey Bouchard for ABC7 and Fox 22 News.